up and be able to provide the alternate power is Gazprom, which is the Russian provider of gas. Now, we want to make sure, and the coalition is a prudent organisation, and we want to make sure that any process forward doesn't just follow rhetorical flourish, one-line headlines, but make sure that we have a clear plan, because I have to show the Australian people what happens, what it looks like when you get it wrong. And the UK energy crisis, the European energy crisis, will be our energy crisis. And at the end of that graph resides coldness and unemployment. And we don't want either of those.
So the state government is looking at a gas future policy that done it a couple of months ago, announced it. That includes potentially development in the Liverpool Plains, among other places in your electorate. You haven't supported coal in Liverpool Plains.
That's correct.
Would you be in favour of gas?
Well, Matt, look at the pressure that's going to come on it because of this. Look at the pressure the money that can be made, and the pressure, the commercial pressure that's going to come on for the development of further gas fields. This is part of the process. This is why you've got to prudently look at it. And no, I don't support the destruction of aquifers, and I don't support things on prime agricultural land. But if you were going to move away, all the way from your coal-fired power stations, you're going to have to find another form of baseload. Now we're building Sunny Hydro 2.0, but that in itself, you've got environmental studies, geotech studies, and that in itself is incredibly expensive to get that capacity for deliverable power. And so everyone says, oh, well, the way we'll do it is with gas. Well, if you're going to do it with gas, you're going to have to find new gas reserves, and you're going to have to tap those gas reserves and utilise those gas reserves.
Obviously, there are gas reserves here, and there are, potentially they could be developed, they could be exploited. Would you be supportive of that?
Well, I'm certainly very supportive of opening up new gas reserves in Australia, but not in the middle of the Breezer Plains, quite obviously.
Josh Frydenberg has said that borrowing costs for governments, businesses and households could increase if international finance markets think Australia isn't doing enough on climate change. Is this a good reason to take a stronger action on climate change?
Well, and the Treasurer is completely right if people make decisions that restrict the flow of capital. But part of our sovereignty should be not to have third parties restrict the capacity of Australia to act within rules and within the process that is legitimate. Remember, the people who are the head of banks or the head of superannuation funds, they don't actually own the money. They only administer the money. The reason they have the job is they presented very well at an interview. Yet sometimes these people talk as if it was their money, and it's not their money. And Australia has to make absolutely certain that our future and our prosperity is not determined by a third party who presented very well at an interview and then is making a determination that affects our whole economic future.